yourself when you don't have the right to stand up for yourself. And I just thought that was amazing, because that's actually why we're all here. That's why we're fighting here in this election, because we know that it is so important to go out today, the last day that we can register voters here and tomorrow, because here in Ohio, because the voter registration deadline is tomorrow, and talk to as many folks as possible and make sure that they know that they can have a voice in this election and that they can make a difference and that they can do all that. And one of the reasons that they can is because Gloria and the other feminists with the National Women's Political Caucus created a political reality where we can elect a woman to the highest office in the land, and we're going to do that this year in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. And one of the reasons that's so important, is because if you think about those fundamental human rights and the rights that that young woman was talking about, there's only one candidate in this race who is going to protect those rights, and we know that. There is only one candidate in this race who's even talking about violence against women and talking about the ways we're going to combat that and get rid of that. There's only one candidate in this race who is willing to protect women's reproductive rights and make sure that women can make the healthcare decisions that are right for them and their families. And that woman is Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
She is going to be an amazing president, and we have to do everything we can here in Ohio to make sure that we elect her. So what we're asking you here today is that you join us in these final few weeks. If you can sign up for 2 hours or 4 hours and 6 hours, I'm sure you've already seen a little sheet like this. After we go out and register all these voters today, we have to make sure they turn out and vote in this election, which could really shape our entire future and the future of our worlds. I know that not all of you may know this, but Gloria has actually worked on a lot of presidential and senatorial campaigns herself. She knows the importance of going out there and making a difference. And I know that she's going to share with us today some amazing words that will inspire us as we go out there and register all these voters. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being part of this campaign. And now it is my great honor and privilege to introduce Gloria Steinem.
Well, really, I came to say thank you, okay, because I am talking about it, but you are actually doing it. You are the single most important thing in politics, which is a trusted messenger. If someone comes to you who you know and you listen to, it is infinitely more powerful than any television commercial, than anything else that we see. And I also want to congratulate you that you have discovered campaigns are some of the greatest fun on earth, right? I fell in love with campaigning when I was in high school, and Adelaide Stevenson was the candidate. I remember that. And I remember going into this place, it was so exciting, and there were all kinds of different people, and big people were doing little things, and little people were doing big things, and we were making friends across all kinds of boundaries, and new work, new love affairs, I don't know, all kinds of things. Love affairs. So the campaign itself, I think, a campaign itself, is the single most democratic institution in this nation. Because the campaign itself is based on the whole understanding that the voting booth is the only place on earth where the most powerful and the least powerful are equal. And it is the one time in our country that we really reach out to each other across all boundaries. It is the one time when we discuss social policy and what we need in our schools, and it's our one big time of national dialogue. So I thank you so much for being part of this. There's nothing on earth more fundamental. And for being part of it in the most unusual presidential campaign that me in my long life have ever witnessed. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's the first time that one candidate has come up without a political party, just through the media. Mm-hmm. It's just like a reality show,
Yeah.
Right.
It is. We're living a reality.
I mean, the good news of that might be that perhaps because of this, after he loses and loses big, there might be an effort to take on the part of real centrist Republicans to take the party back, because it has been ever since the Civil Rights Act
I don't think so.
was taken over by extremists,
Here we go.
because the old Southern racist Democrats objected to the Civil Rights Act, and so, led by Jesse Helms, remember him? And others, they began to go over and take over the Republican Party. And then the Bush II gave billions of dollars in, with only on executive order, to religious groups,
Right.
the faith-based initiatives that became a voter delivery system, and that kind of took over the primaries. So centrist candidates couldn't get through the primaries really anymore. They had to be an extremist. And it's really dangerous for one of our two great parties to be in the hands of extremists. Because of course people are gonna get mad at one party and vote for the other, but then, I mean, that could be the good news. I think the really fundamental, really good news, that real Republicans take the party back. Because, did you know the Republican Party was the first to support the Equal Rights Amendment?
Right.
And Rockefeller and the first Bush and Goldwater, they were all pro-choice. Why want to get government off the backs of corporations and into the wombs of women? It's always nice. So, I think there's some long-term light here that we can see, but it all depends on our short-term efforts, absolutely all. So are there any things, one thing, it's super clear to me, I do not learn while I am talking. I learn while I am listening. So, are there any questions or answers or things I can help with, or things you think?
How do you feel about the debates?
The debates, well, it's really hard always, because it's a false equivalency. And even fact-checking and even equal time is crazy when you have this kind of situation. But I think that, even with that, by all the networks and everything, she won big time.
Agreed.
Big time. And he just managed not to dissolve in spite of all this, and just kept accusing, in all kinds of outrageous ways. And I think she followed Michelle Obama's advice in a good way.
Yes, she did. Take the high road.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you saw the opinion piece in the New York Times today that criticized Hillary's response to having Donald Trump breathing down her neck and assaulting her with words and innuendo during the